Let's move down here.
Good evening, councillors, officers and members of the public. Welcome to the South Area Planning Committee meeting of 18th September 2024 at 7 p.m. If the fire alarm sounds, please follow the lead of our officers and exit the building and assemble at the bus stop in Doddington Road. I'll just run through a few rules. First of all, we are testing the recording quality of this meeting. So we have a camera and it's not actually being live streamed. As far as I can work out, members of the public will be invisible to the camera, but just so you know, and do say if you feel uncomfortable about that. Could you take a moment just to check that your mobile phones are on silent for the duration of the meeting? I will now run through the protocol for members' public participation and the rules of debate. Please note that the chair's ruling during the debate will be final. If you've registered to speak, and we do have 3 speakers tonight, I will introduce you by name and invite you to step forward and address the meeting at the appropriate time. First of all, this evening, the planning officer is going to introduce the item relating to the planning application and then summarise the main points. I will then invite the members of the public who have already registered to speak on the item, and after that time, after they've spoken, members of the committee here will be invited to ask further questions of the speakers. And at that point, I will then move the motion formally so that we can legally debate it. It will be seconded and the councillors will then debate. Now, to start the meeting proper, apologies for non-attendance.
Yeah, we've got Councillor Will, Councillor Jenny, Councillor Lowell and Councillor North, and we're joined by Councillor Eakins and Councillor Ty as substitutes.
Lovely. My big thanks to Councillor Eakins and Ty for coming along as substitutes. Now we have the minutes for the last meeting, which was held on 17th July here. I assume that all the councillors here have had a chance to look through this. Are there any problems, any changes needed with that? Could I ask someone to propose? Councillor Norman, thank you. We have a second, Councillor Brown. All those in favour? Any against? The abstentions carried. Now, we've just got the one substantive item tonight. Do any members here have any declarations of interest that we should mention? Councillor Graham.
Thank you, Chairman. In a previous role, I attended a site visit with project officers and facilities officers as part of the preparation, but no decisions were made, obviously, so it's just personal.
Thank you. Councillor Jackson.
Thank you, Chair. I made a site visit to the park, but I don't speak to anybody, so no problems there.
Thank you. Councillor Lorne.
Thank you, Chair. I made the site visit as well. Thank you.
Okay, any other site visits? Well, I'm sure that everyone here can confirm that they have come to this meeting with an open mind and have not predetermined this application in any way. We now move to the substantive items. Application NE 24 00176 at Bassett's Park, West Villa Road, Wellingborough. We would normally have a slideshow at this point showing what it looks like now and what it will look like, but there have been internet problems, so unfortunately we can't show that. However, the planning officer will do the best to create images in your mind, I'm sure, in his description. Over to you.
Thank you, Chair. Planning application reference number NW 24000176 FPL. This application seeks planning permission for the construction of a concrete skate park to replace the existing skate park within Bassett's Park in Wellingborough. The new skate park is proposed at the northern end of the park towards Westfield Road on an existing grass area. The proposal also includes the installation of 2 CCTV cameras on 12-metre columns, solar lighting on the 6-metre high columns, and new planting. The existing skate park is also proposed to be removed. North Northamptonshire Council is both the applicant and landowner, and the application has also attracted more than 5 neighbour objections, which raise material plan considerations. Under the Council's scheme of delegation, the application therefore requires determination by the Standing Committee. The principle of the development is considered to comply with policy 11.1A of the North Northamptonshire Joint Strategy as it is located within the Grove Town of Wellingborough, and policy 7A, C and B, which support the provision of new and enhanced community facilities and protect open space. The development is also considered to be in accordance with policy G3 on the plan for the Borough of Wellingborough, which seeks to ensure there is no loss of local green space unless it can be demonstrated that the development would not conflict with the purpose of the designation. A replacement skate park was refused in September 2022 under planning application reference NW/21/00777/FUL. The 4 reasons for refusal related to the impact on the character and appearance of the park, lighting, noise, and crime prevention. This application has sought to overcome the previous reasons for refusal by providing 3D visuals and proposals, the provision of solar lighting, an updated noise survey and assessment, and the addition of CCTV. The main considerations for this application are impact on the character and appearance of the area of the park. The application has been accompanied by visuals of the skate park to demonstrate the impact the skate park has on the character and appearance of the area. The skate park is located on an existing open area of the park and surrounded by grass berms to soften development. Whilst it is acknowledged that there will be a visual impact, the proposal is located in this position to ensure there is adequate natural surveillance to the facility, as well as being positioned as far as possible from the neighbouring occupiers. The provision of additional tree planting to ensure an impact over the rest and the tree protection condition are recommended. A provision to ensure the existing skate park is removed and unreinstated within 12 months of the new skate park being installation is also recommended. Archaeology. The site is located close to an area of medieval tenements and due to proposed earthworks, the council's archaeological advisor has recommended a commission for observation, investigation, recording, analysis, and publication. Noise. The application has been supported by an environmental sound assessment which has been updated since the previous review. The report uses other readings from other skate parks to assess the proposals and concludes that the predicted sound levels do not warrant additional mitigation. The council's environmental protection officer raises no objections subject to condition requiring details of the noise management plan being submitted and approved in writing prior to the purpose of the facility. A condition requiring the construction environmental management plan is recommended to be imposed to ensure that the impact of the construction phase of the development on the neighbouring occupiers is minimised. Living conditions of the neighbouring occupiers. The skate park has been positioned as far as possible from the neighbouring residential occupiers, which is an improvement on the existing situation where the current skate park is located close to the rear boundaries of dwellings and a primary school. Concerns have been raised by a number of neighbouring occupiers in relation to the impact of the new skate park who have on their community, but these relate mainly to noise and antisocial behaviour and are considered separately. The proposals will not result in any unacceptable impacts in relation to loss of light school privacy. Highways and parking. The development does not include the provision of off-road parking service. However, the site is located close to the town centre where there are free car parks. No objections have been raised by the local highway authority in relation to parking. Crime and disorder. The application proposes the installation of 2 column-mounted CCTV cameras, one close to the southern entrance to the park and one to the north of the bandstand covering the skate park itself. The CCTV cameras are in addition to the existing network of CCTV cameras within the town and are linked to the control centre at Lowman Police Station. Subject to the installation of the CCTV, no objections are raised to the proposal by Northamptonshire Police. Lighting. The skate park is proposed to be lit by solar lights mounted on columns. A condition is recommended that the lighting is only operational between 8 AM and 10 PM and installed to ensure light pollution is minimised. In summary, it's considered that the proposed development accords with the development plan and it is recommended that planning permission is granted, subject to the conditions set out in the report. There is no update paper.
Thank you very much. We have, as I mentioned, 3 registered speakers. Our first speaker is Jake Campion. If you'd like to come up and you have 3 minutes to come. Yes, sit down.
Okay. Hi there guys, my name's Jake Campion. I've been a member of the Wellingborough Skate Park Group. It's a local group in Wellingborough based on the renovation of the skate park itself. I've been working very closely with the conjunction of the council as well, Wellingborough Council, also with Brian yourself, and obviously with the communication we've had as well. We're very keen to see this park updated, renovated for the generation below us and everyone in the town itself. So the main points I'll bring up is basically the current skate park is unusable. It's extremely unfit for its original purposes. So skateboarders, BMX, rollerbladers and scooters alike from all across the county have also expressed how Wellingborough's current skate park is in dire need of renovation. A lot of people have said it's the worst skate park in Northamptonshire County, which I tend to not disagree with, but understandable. So I've actually experienced myself firsthand injury at the skate park. It's quite a dangerous one. I had broken my leg. That was due to using the skate park, and actually the skate park is so dire that I actually had an accident there, which isn't anything particular, but it happened. So there's a significant need for cost facilities in Wellingborough across the town. So obviously young people, especially in today's age, where most are dealing with cost of living crisis, where nearly everything in this town costs money to do. And a free skate park would obviously then open up doors for a free, cost-effective way of people to exercise and practice their sport in a safe environment, which would bring to this town a massive benefit. Regarding the social behaviour in the park already, I believe there's currently a strong reason this is occurring already. So the skate park that's currently there is unfit for use as intended, therefore using the park have gone elsewhere. The actual skateboarders, the BMXers and the rollerbladers don't really go fast anymore, so that isn't kind of their priority. They go grab bands, get to a skate park, Edinburgh and Rawlins. So regarding that, the users down the park that are currently down there, they tend to take a lot of drugs, a lot of alcoholics and very antisocial behaviour happens down there all the time. Because they're allowed to, due to the fact that the way it's laid out already, there's a massive area on this visit, a non-visibility from the public, which means there's more acceptable to go hang out there and do their mischievous doings. The new location is a great location in my opinion. It's out of the corner of the park where these alcoholics gather and use the base, not use the park intended purposes. Aesthetically, it adds to the park's flow, I think, better to the landscape. The CCTV cameras are a brilliant idea to specifically reduce the amount of such behaviour and obviously incur every them one of us misbehaving more. Just to also mention the park's history as well, the heritage. The park has an amazing history, with Wills Sports being a centre. As in 1960s, Plastics Park had an original roller skating rink built in 1996, which township had pride in my opinion. So that also it comes to the fact that it's a heritage site and that's in the past. Obviously, it's historical for that fact. Also, the fact that skateboard is an Olympic sport as well, which also raises the importance of one of the facility which users can hone the skill for the practice for no cost. And that's pretty much basically the main points. I think we've been working really hard to kind of get somewhere along with this. I've lived here my whole life. I'm 28 and it's very important for me to see a change in this town that's well needed and not just be kind of pushed away. Because I think a lot of people in this town need something more than just. And I think there's a lot more that can be done in terms of the actual scheme. But yeah, that's my point. Thank you both.
Thanks. If there are any questions, I may need to bring you back, Jay. Yes. Would you come back to the seat? Thank you. Sorry. Councillor Laura Gordon.
Thank you for your enthusiasm. How many of you are there roughly
So there's
who
five.
will use it and where would you park?
Okay, so the main users of the skate park could be up to, say, usually, say last year or so, there's about 5 of us, say 6 of us using it. Before then, say 5, 10 years ago, sometimes people, that's when it's in good condition. Obviously, if you look at like other parks in Levanton, Kettering, around, they're always busy, always use. They're really great amenities that the towns have. Public wise, I don't think parking would be a massive issue because these parks are already available in the county as well. Be more for the local residents as well. So obviously neighbourless, they can walk to it. Parking in towns is quite free, but technically the same car park, which is still there already. There's lots of ways to park and not that being inconvenience to town, if that makes sense. A bit nervous, sorry, but I think there's a lot more like public amenity than it is like the parking and all that, because I think people just come to it locally, if that makes sense, than just traveling from town to town. Obviously, there's parks in other towns. I think the main problem we have is people leaving whatever to go elsewhere, and people staying whatever to have their amenities in their backyard, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's my point.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from the councillors? No. Okay, thank you very much.
Our second speaker is Ruth Dan, if that's him.
Everyone, I'll introduce my name's Maria. I'm here tonight to represent a collective of residents, teachers and parents from St Barnabas and Freeman School and also Roseford Court. As parents and grandparents and frequenters of the Bassett Park, we wholeheartedly agree that there needs to be more provision for activity and physical activity within Wellingborough. However, we do object against the co-location of this proposed site. Bassett Park is the smallest park in Wellingborough. It's a much learned historic and green space. It's a vital amenity used regularly by schools for sports days, whole host of population exercising in there in various manners. Other childcare providers use it as Little Stones and Aston Play Nursery. It's our belief that the scale of the project is actually disproportionate to the available green space, and converting a large grass area into concrete when a concrete area already exists just seems senseless to us, really. Yeah, there must be areas where we could re-renovate the existing area there that's already concreted, or a bigger park such as Croyland. We'd urge that to be considered. The proposed location, despite the change, is still unacceptably close to the boundaries of residential properties. No other council would ever contain a skate park being so close to schools and homes. We anticipate a devaluation of property prices if the work is permitted, and we would ask what the council's plan is to compensate residents for this. Noise levels have been addressed and we've spoken here, but we do still feel it would be particularly noisy during the summer months, make it very hard for children to get sleep in the nearby areas, affecting their mental health and well-being. You have addressed about vandalism already. I've seen needles there, we've had police there numerous times. I live really close. I've seen people countless times. Twice I've put out 2 fires. I've seen people urinate and defecate in both the park and my drive because the toilets are never open in Bassett Park. We're offering half the level of amenities but not what's needed to support it there. To address the parking situation, I know Jake spoke about Jackson's Lane. At the moment, we're seeing drivers already disregarding using Jackson's Lane. We have restrictions in place to call drop-off times. None of these are being respected. So there's no real reason or no evidence to believe that Jackson's Lane would be used in the future. It's a known safeguarding issue in St Barnabas Street. One of the huge benefits for me about Bassett is that it's a really busy location used by many. Throughout the year, we have many charity functions going on there. I think the name that a lot of towns set things up now, and Royal Legion do things, or the fair to visit. I feel if we had one area that's created with the sole purpose, it was hold a variety of offerings that we enjoy currently. A final key point has been the air ambulance. The air ambulance frequently needs to come up in this area, and I would urge the council to see have we got assurance that the air ambulance will still be able to land safely in that place, one, during the construction of the skate park, and 2, once it is fully implemented. Is that my 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Take any questions?
Okay, councillors, any questions for our speaker? Councillor Mercer.
Yeah, hi then.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I've been driving past, I've noticed occasionally there's a fair in this park. Is the fairground area going to be affected by this?
No, it wouldn't be. So ultimately, you've got that area taken by the fair, the area allocated to small children, then you have a skate park, really diminishing the green space area, just to remove green space to add concrete when there's already a perfectly good concrete area that could be regenerated. Really jars with me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from councillors? Councillor Harrington.
Rio, where would you suggest it should be built? The skate park should be built if it wasn't built there. Is there anywhere in Wellingborough that you think it should be built?
We discussed this alongside the school quite thoroughly. We feel Croyland Park is a much bigger expanse of land, still easily accessible. That could be an option. Along Kingsway, there's a basketball court that's already there, open land. That would be a nice way for people to enjoy different sports together, or even potentially just regenerating the skate park that's already there, demolishing because it is unfit for purpose, it's unsafe. But demolish that and rebuild that there, so we're not losing Norway space. Yeah, thank you for the question.
One more, councillor Jackson.
Thank you.
Press the button again.
Freeman's Own Dowd School is at the top of the, very close to where this is proposed.
Yes.
Do they hold sports? Or do they do any sports on that ground at all?
They do, they regularly use that because it's even ground at the top. It puts a real equitable racetrack there really for kids when they want to do their running or any athletics, which they couldn't do further down in the park because it's an uneven surface. So yeah, it's used regularly. Also, St Barnabas do as well as a couple of daycare, so there is nearby.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Eakins.
Thank you, Chair. I think I'm probably one of the oldest people in Wellingborough that's used this facility. For 60 years I've lived in Wellingborough because I lived right around the corner from it, so it's one of the parks that I've frequented quite recently. You just mentioned the school using the facilities of Freeman's and St Barnabas. But isn't there a fenced off area there for the schools to use, which is part of that other area, and it's purposely fenced off to stop people from using their dogs for exercise and defecating?
Actually, it's still used by dog owners.
That's nothing to do with the skateboard. That's so much to do with policies and enforcement. Isn't it?
I agree. I still maintain that removing a green area when there's already concrete in place and the same expanse is makes no sense to me.
But when you mentioned the air ambulance having to do to land, in fact, the fenced off area is probably the safest place for it to land because there's no trees around that facility for it to land.
There, do they? So I have to assurance.
They might have to if this gets passed.
Well, I would like to double check with them that they would still be able to park there if they needed to. If they can, that's a different matter. Safety of the community needs to come before a physical activity, I think.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
No, thanks, everyone. Thank you, Chair.
Our third speaker is speaking as the representative of the applicant. This is Raj Gill, the Projects Officer for Northamptonshire Council.
Hello, thank you for allowing me to speak. Over 10 years ago, in 2013, the skate park was brought to the attention of Borough Council of Wellingborough by the local skaters who wanted a better skating facility in Bassett Park. A petition was signed by over 169 people that was presented to the council. Since then, skaters have continuously pushed for a skate park. There's a huge demand in Wellingborough for a skate park. The existing skate park, as mentioned, is old, unsafe, and not challenging for people to use, which makes it unsafe for all the users. Why people are loitering on it? Because it's not being used for the purpose it's supposed to. Having a good skate park in Wellingborough allows residents to access the facility locally instead of going out of Wellingborough. Will also encourage people to come into Wellingborough to use the facility. It allows people the chance to learn and practice now an Olympic sport. And it helps people become active, which helps in mental health and reduce obesity. Why Bassett's Park? It's already got an existing skate park, which has been located in the worst area of the park because it is dark, there's no lighting, there's no surveillance, people feel unsafe in that area. So Barnaby School approached us and said, can you move it away from the school because the children can hear foul language and all sorts going on there. So we said, yes, we would consider that, hence why we have located it at the top of the park where it can be seen by passersby. That area will be put back to green space so that the green space is allocated back to that area, and that is the event space that is used. So all the events can happen in one area and the skate park will be at the top of the park. As mentioned before, there is a fenced area for children for sports days. Council officers have worked with the local communities and many departments to make sure the skate park meets the needs for those who want to use the facilities. The council has listened and investigated comments from residents and schools by improving the facilities in the park for all to use and proposing a skate park to be relocated away from St Barnaby School. Various teams across North Northamptonshire and police were consulted and addressed the issues that were raised in the previous application. CCTV and lighting have been included in this application to allow for residents, park users all to feel safe and also to help deter ASB in the area. A noise report was instructed because concerns from Freeman School about the disturbance to students. The local skaters are committed to ensuring the skate park is kept and maintained. They have also set up a Facebook skate park group with over 138 members, some of which are here today, like Jake, who spoke earlier. They have been in constant contact with the council, offering support to push the scheme through. We ask the planning committee to listen to the voices of the future generation and give them the facility they have been working so hard for the past 10 years. So that they can see that council not only listens but supports health and well-being in the community, encouraging people to develop new skills, and who knows, maybe the next Olympic skateboarder might be from Wellingborough. Thank you very much for listening.
Clarifying things that they have said rather than asking questions which might be better answered by the officers. Councillor Lorman.
Thank you. As you mentioned noise and everything that could dissipate over to that area. Do you know the average DVA if the skateboard ramps are fully in use and in comparison to the old one?
When the noise report was done, it was quite hard because there was no skaters at the park. We did try to get people there, but it's very hard to determine it. But what they did say is because the road, Westfield Road, is very busy, any noise that's been made by the skate park would not reflect the properties on the other side of the road. So it should be covered by the noise of the busy road there. So it shouldn't interfere with them. And they did actually carry out the noise report from the school. Yeah. So they had this equipment put in this and then that's what we get to do. Thank you.
Councillor Graham Norman.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Two points. Can you confirm what other sites the council did consider for this? We've had a question on that. And secondly, from memory, is it correct that I've been going a long time that some of the funding that was originally sourced for this had a restriction that it had to be used in the town centre, in our town centre area. Perhaps you can confirm what.
Yes. First question, we did consider all the parks in Wellingborough. I work along with most of the parks in Wellingborough, so I'm very familiar with all the parks. Croydon Park was one of the ones that many people wanted to suggest. The main reason we wanted to bring it at Bassett's Park is because there is a skate park existingly there. It's not a new facility. Also, there is female skaters. We want to encourage female skaters and young skaters to use the skating facilities. All skate parks are located in secluded areas where females feel intimidated and don't want to leave it. Neither do small young children who want to learn skating. They don't go to the skate parks because there's obviously older children there. They feel very intimidated. Having it within the park where other play facilities are, you can have people passing by, people overlooking it. It doesn't feel as intimidating to younger people and females. So it's very important to get that gender in there as well, because it's not just male dominated sport. So Boyden Park is a very wide used park for matches, there are footballs, there are events, there are loads of things going on. The only ideal place would have been where the Mogler place is on Queensway. And again, that's a very secluded area where it's not near other facilities. That's why it was taken away from there. As you said, the funding has been allocated to Bassett Close. So Section 1 funding was allocated to Bassett Close to use against the skate park. That's why we have tried to kick people out of Bassett Park as well. Sorry, did that answer your question, Councillor? Yeah.
Are there any other questions from councillors? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm going to move the recommendation. This is a legal requirement, otherwise we can't debate it. For the purposes of debate and in accordance with the council's constitution meeting procedure rules 19(2) and 19(21), I will move the recommendation stated on page 21 of your agenda papers that planning permission be granted subject to the conditions listed at the end of the report. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Bowman, thank you. Now, councillors, this is open to debate. Councillor Eakins.
Thanks very much, Chair. And thank you for the speakers and the members of the public who attended tonight to hear the deliberations and the discussions that's going to take place. Chair, have been in Northamptonshire or Northamptonshire as a whole 45 skate parks listed around in towns and villages across the county. Unfortunately, 38 are only in use. They go range from Barby to Northampton, Stratford, Alnwood, Wellingborough, other towns and villages that are significant in their sizes, be it small, be it large. 7, unfortunately, are now called graveyard skate parks, where they've stopped being used. Cookman, Desborough, Kingscliff, Kingston, Rawls, Yardley, Hastings. One of the things I would say is a little village, probably not known, it's called Barby. And the reason why Barby has been built is because where my sister-in-law lives. And my niece and nephew frequented that skate park regularly growing up, as did all the other people in that village. I myself said I'm from Wellingborough all my life, 61 years, and I can actually say that as a young person, when skateboards were brought out in the late 90s, 70s, shall I say, 80s, is that's one place we went to because of the slope and the paths and the things around the bandstand. So when there was a skate park built, it was quite pleasing to see other people using it. We've mentioned other things about this area. Parking was mentioned. We're debating whether a skate park goes into a public park, not where people park. And unfortunately, the parking isn't by the skaters, because most of them are not old enough to drive. It's done by parents who are irresponsible in their parking behaviours, visiting the park, not necessarily to use skateboards or anything on those facilities, but to take their own children into the park. And they park irresponsibly, but that's not our issue here. That's not anything to do, that's down to the police if it's been parked in an obstructive manner, and NNC enforcement if they're parking illegally on double yellows, etc. There is not a lot of parking around there, but again, that's not an issue with the people who don't use the park for amenity use. There is a large car park at Jackson Lane, with a walkway through and past into and out of the park. It is a very busy amenity, but it goes back from 1904, I think it is, when it was transferred over to the public back in the Victorian era. But we've got to understand that this park has been a major part of Wellingborough, and the amenities and fairs going to it and other events going to it Indeed, in the World War II, it was used as a base for the American Army. And they had their tanks running around it. A bit actually earlier tonight, you could hear the Spitfire fly across.
Councillor, if you can keep this pertinent to the family.
It is. What I'm saying is, I'm trying to get through to you, is that this is just an amenity. It's a vital part of Wellingborough. And it's historic that it's been used for entertainment purposes, we're in events going on there. But it's also there for members of the public to use and continue to use. The skate park has been moved on the request of the residents who previously objected to where it was. The school have objected to it. As a councillor down there, I was called in because there were people smoking herbal cigarettes, and that was being wafted into the school classrooms. So moving it, but again, not all these skateboarders use drugs, or can be seen to be using drugs. I'm not saying that everyone's innocent, but we can't target and label certain people because they like to skateboard and dress in the manner that they dress in relation to the sport that they enjoy. What we have to understand here is that it's an amenity that's actually really, really required in this town. It's an amenity over this side of the town where there's very little entertainment purposes in the local park for teenagers, youngsters. With the resurgence of scooters now, it's going down as even my 4-year-old granddaughter uses a scooter and goes on to the skate park in Elbarton where she lives. So it proves that young they are, they start. And it's been mentioned about the Olympics. So, you know, all in all, I think enhancing the current skate park by demolishing the bottom skate park, which releases that again down for other people to use. Enhancing a new skate park area at the top, which has been thought through very well. It's aesthetically pleasing. It is away from certain areas where people were saying about noise and obstructions that were going on. However, I can't see any reason or anything in the papers that has actually given a valid reason for an objection. There's no planning considerations here that actually indicates that it couldn't be agreed and passed, and the planning application be granted. So saying that, and just to sum it up, Chairman, is as I can't find any planning consideration to refuse this planning application, I would like to propose that we just go forward with the vote and accept the officer's recommendation and approve this so that people in Wellingborough can really enjoy the places where they like to live and play.
Thank you, Councillor. No, I mean, we do need a full debate on this, so we will continue to debate. Are there Councillor Andy Mercer next, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was involved in the original Rushton Skating Park about 20 years ago, which was a wooden one. About 8 years ago, Rushton Town Council paid for it to be replaced by a concrete one, quite a large one. I always assumed that wooden one would be safer than the concrete one. I was wrong. It turns out more people got injured on a wooden one than they did on a concrete one. Don't understand why, but that's the reality. Sorry. That is what I thought. I was there once when we waited nearly 3 hours for an ambulance to turn up with someone with a broken leg. There's no question that skateboard parks are now a feature of modern life and that every community should have access to them. The fact that they're an Olympic sport recognises their importance to modern life. I'm too old to use one, but people younger than me, I'm sure, will be a high proportion want to use them. Now, the one in Rushton is about 2.5 miles, something like that, outside the town centre, and I've seen kids traipsing backwards and forwards to it uphill. It's a hell of a long walk if you can't drive. Having one in the centre of the town is much more sensible, and it would have been better if Rushton's had been nearer the centre. This, therefore, seems to be roughly the right sort of place and roughly the right sort of thing to be doing. So unless there is a valid planning reason for refusal, it seems that the balance of weight is in favour of granting, particularly as the National Planning Policy Framework says that there is automatically a bias in favour of granting on any planning application unless you find a very good reason for refusing it. And I don't see any very good reason.
Thank you, councillor. Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Chair. I'll keep this brief. I think I'm one of the few councillors who have the benefit of the skate park being built fairly recently, a couple of years ago in Elf Barton. We had a plan application come up and subsequently approved and accepted. And at the time, there was a lot of similar objections to what we've heard here in terms of antisocial behaviour. What I've seen and witnessed at the Elf Barton skate park is anything but. There's the connection that these people will make and friendship they will make at park will last a lifetime. And in addition, I've seen skaters, older skaters, see young people struggling and helping them and giving them lessons. I've also seen them kind of self-regulate, if you like. They're very proud of their skate park in Elf Barton and they want to keep it a nice area for people to use. So I've witnessed people dropping litter by the skate park and skaters, calling them out and telling them pick up your rubbish and put it in the bin. Which does bring me on to my one slight concern with the application. I can't see anywhere on the plan where there is a bin in close proximity to the skate park. I think in Elf Barton we didn't have one originally. There were bins scattered across the park, but not right in the skate park. And we've since added a bin right in the skate park, and that's solved a bit of a problem with regards to litter being created with drinks and things. So I would like to see if there is a bin being provided, and if not, if that could potentially be a recommendation.
Thank you. No, there isn't a bin proposed in the plans. The council could vote in on their own back if they wanted to, or we could add in the condition to this plan permission if you wanted to grant.
I think if we could have it as a recommendation, that would be appreciated.
So that there's a recommendation to amend the planning to require that the council also put in a bin nearby. Do we have a seconder for that? Councillor Bone, thank you. Does anyone wish to debate on that?
No.
Okay.
Right on.
Okay, so Councillor Brown's motion, which is duly seconded, we're going to vote on it. So this is to add a bin and we'll dedicate it to the officers to sort out the final, yes, the final wording of the condition delegated to the Executive Director of Place and Economy in consultation with the Chair of the Planning Committee. All those in favour? So included. So the substantive motion is now includes a bin and the delegated authority to get that going. Now I've got a few more to speak. So Councillor Laura Norman, then Councillor Graham Norman, then Councillor Bone. So.
Thank you, Chair. I used to work for about 25 years opposite in Oxford House. And so Monday to Friday, and I have the pleasure of seeing the activities. And initially when the skate ramps were installed and the fun was had. And I know that there was the impact on St Barnabas School, but moving it to the area where it is proposed to move, I think should alleviate any of the concerns they have, because it also frees the front area where the entrance is, and the fair that comes to town, I think about 4 times a year, will have a much better area to work. And from the noise point of view, there's already a child play park, and kids make noises, and so they should. My only negative thing is I wish we'd been more ambitious and had put in the equivalent of Brennan Alley. like that, I look forward to seeing it come to fruition and see how many young people, or anyone of any age, there might be people like my age, who want to try it and have a good contract with medical insurance. But I'm pleased where it's being put. I can't see any reason why we should refuse this. Thank you.
That's a great one.
Thank you, Chairman. This has been going on a long time. Those of us who are BCW councillors can remember, and I think the paper said 11 years. And I think it is time this was put to bed. I know from correspondence we got at the time that the people involved have been campaigning very hard and done a lot of work on it. It's obvious from the papers that this is and what's been said, that this is an old facility. It's not fit for purpose. But it's obviously a needed facility. I mean, occasionally I go to Northampton and drive down the Bedford Road and there's a big park there, and it's always busy. But the car park is never full. So my students they find their own way, on bikes or whatever. Reading the report, it seems to me that the all the objections from before have been mitigated. It's further from Barnabas School. Which alleviates some of the issues they have, because obviously there is actually an access to the schools there, the back access that some people use, and having that moved away would be quite useful. I think if the skate park has greater use, that would displace any antisocial behaviour, because I'm sure that the users will look after it and ensure that things don't happen. I think so. I think where it is, there'll be better oversight. It's not tucked away. So I think that's, and it's also, officers have been keen to make sure it's not in the area that's used for the fair. So that's really wrong. Unfortunately for Mrs. Stanley, the value of property is not a planning matter. It's not something we can take into account. That's the law, I'm afraid. So, all in all, I think it's a needed facility that's valuable for everybody and for the town, and I should be supporting it to the interviews.
Thank you. Councillor Byrne.
Thank you, Chair. I'll keep it brief. I would like to know if any of my fellow colleagues have found any reason to vote against this, because I think it's a good application, and I'd like to congratulate the officers on preparation of the report to us. As Councillor Lorman has just said, it's answered the queries from the previous applications. I cannot see any reason not to grant this. So for avoidance of doubt, I know you wanted a fair debate, but I'd like to know if anybody has found any reason not to grant. Chair.
I think that's a fair question. Thank you. Do any councillors sitting here see any reason not to grant it? If so, speak now, please. Did you want to say something, Councillor Harrington?
Yes, I would like to say something actually. I can only just hear you actually. I don't know whether your microphone is working properly. But I can see no logical or legal reason why we should refuse this. I see no reason whatsoever. Antisocial behaviour, that only happens when a facility is not used. Then you get people loitering around it and hanging around. But I believe that this will be used a great deal. Regarding the noise issue, I don't think it's going to be any noisier than when the fair is there. And every year I organise the Rotary Family Fun Day, and we have rock music playing all afternoon, but nobody complains about that. So I think there is no logical reason why we should vote it down. I should vote for it.
Thank you. So I think finally now that we move to a vote. So we're voting on the motion as amended. If you could indicate with your card if you're voting in favour, please. Yeah, Councillor Ty, are you? I wasn't sure whether you were wishing to vote in favour. Yes, yes. So that is carried. I'd like to thank once again the speakers for coming in. It's lovely to see so many members of the public as well here. And there being no further business, I close this meeting at 19:50.